How to get moving. It all comes down to this one thing to get started. Thanks for joining me for today's coffee time chat where we get real and talk about things that we all know but don't really say. Now this video is a bit of a part 2 continuation from the last video where we talked about being self-aware enough to take 5 and just sort of checking with yourself in terms of how you're feeling and why things maybe aren't working your way going your way, or maybe you're feeling a bit discouraged or sad, or maybe you're just losing that peace of mind. This part of the video is once you've acknowledged this is how I'm feeling, that's a good start. Oh my god, I can't speak right now. That's a good starting point. I think I need like more tea. It's getting cold, but yes, it's a good starting point to actually get moving. And that's kind of why I was saying in the last video, I really wanted to stress the whole point of be aware and get moving. Be aware and get moving. And in this video, I want to talk about really quickly the main number one thing that I know how to get moving. And that all comes down to something I heard a Bible teacher say many, many years ago. And it was along the lines of, if you're not sure what to do next, if you're not sure how to start moving next and what to do and where to go, just keep doing the last thing that you feel the Lord put on your heart to do. Now, in other words, if you're not sure what to do, just keep going back. Well, not go back, but go back and do the thing that you felt was put on your heart for what you should do. And what I mean by that is your healthy habits, or those kind of habits that you have that you usually do and that keeps your life generally productive when things are good, and that acts like an anchor to bring you back to that position where you were, where things were going good. So in my example in the last video, I talked about how for a couple of weeks I kind of stopped doing the things that gave me pleasure, going to the gym, going out with friends, having coffee, going for walks, and I felt I was spending too much time at home, and that's in the last video. But once I realized that, what I went back to was the healthy habits that I already had developed and just going back to them. And those acted like an anchor to kind of bring me back and get me back to being active into how I used to feel. Now, here's the thing. You can keep doing those healthy habits and things that you used to do and still feel a little off. Still feel and have those moments where you're still discouraged or things are not happening the way you want them to, and you still have that bit of like dis-ease, so to speak. But that's the whole point. These habits or these things that you normally do act like an anchor to bring you back, and slowly and eventually the mind will catch up. And that's the thing, as I said in the last video, I'm not a licensed therapist, I'm not a licensed psychologist. I can only speak based on experience, and this is what I found works for me. So as I said, these healthy habits, these things that you do, kind of bring you back as an anchor. So for me, it was going back to the gym at least 3 or 4 times a week, going out for a walk, whether it's myself or with my friend, meeting my friend for a coffee, or going out with my friend and having that social time. Those activities when I did, of course I still had those moments where I still felt a little off, things aren't exactly perfect, but going back and doing those habits, those daily things that you used to do slowly let your mind catch up, and your feelings then do begin to change as well, and it begins to kind of mirror now what you're doing. You're now active physically and mentally also, you're feeling a lot better how you used to. And that's one of the reasons why I'm filming this coffee time chat right now too. Like, I love filming these coffee time chats. I love sitting down and talking about things that are on my heart, or which is initially why this started, to talk about things that we all know but just don't really say. And coming back to making these videos, which I haven't filmed in months, it really does give me more peace and pleasure. This is what I want to do, this is what I like doing, and I enjoy doing it. So this is also one of the things that I started doing, which is go back to doing those things that give you pleasure. And even though I haven't done it and I had a break for a couple of months, that's why I'm going back into this, film those videos, the coffee time chats, which I enjoy, like I said. And as I said, going to the gym, doing those healthy habits that you do now. In your situation too, I would recommend, after you've taken 5, after you've sort of acknowledged how you're feeling and why you're possibly feeling, is to try to move past that and maybe think to yourself, are there any healthy habits that you used to do, any activities that you used to do? What kind of things did you used to go, habits that you had in place that kind of helped you feeling good, positive and moving? And if you didn't have that many, maybe now's a good time to develop healthy habits. What habits can you form, can you start doing that would get you out, get you more active, or back on track towards the dreams and the goals that you kind of have in mind for yourself, and working towards that. And honestly, that is one of the number one things that I know to do to kind of get out of a rut, so to speak, and that is going back to that anchor of those healthy habits, or if you don't have them, develop those healthy habits. So as I said, really take 5, get the candle, have some music, sit down and think about what are those things that you used to do, that you could do, that will kind of bring you back on track to get moving into the direction that you want to go. As I said, once you start moving into that direction, your mind and emotions will follow on, and hopefully over time you'll see yourself going back to how you used to be, your old self, but in the good sense. Change of course is good, but what I mean is in the positive sense. So that was it, my very short video on get moving, and that it all comes down to that one thing, going back to those healthy habits as an anchor, that act as an anchor to get you moving forward. Let me know in the comments, I'm really curious to know how you feel. What are those healthy habits that you do? What things do you do or could you do to get back on track? What's worked for you? I'd love to see in the comments, and of course, it's a great way to share and kind of see what other people are thinking and what works for them, and of course trying different things. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, I do encourage you to consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for joining me for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.